Tonight, a pair of Watertown business owners are upset as a Watertown streetscape project takes away parking spaces. Plus, the Ogdensburg Police Department hosts a public forum aiming to get feedback from its citizens. But first, we meet the candidates. As a Watertown City Council primary draws closer, a forum is held in the city, and we sit down with two candidates to ask them 3 pressing questions. Good evening, I'm Zach Grady. Thank you for joining us. With a week to go until the 2023 primary election, 7 News is asking 3 questions to each of the dozen candidates running for Watertown City Council. 7 News reporter Lexi Bruning starts off our series of conversations with Leonard Spaziani and Timothy T.J. Babcock.
Ahead of the June 27th primary, we're asking each candidate the same 3 questions. First, what they think of the job the current council is doing.
I'd have to give them a C, just because of the information that they're given. I think if they would dig a little bit more with the city manager and ask more questions, you know, why this and why that, and the priorities. You know, water should be the top priority, and it seems like they're prioritizing other projects.
I think their focuses are on the wrong things. I think they should be focused more on the infrastructure of the city. And I know they say we're going to be a recreational city, but a recreational city does not draw in new business. It does not draw in new residents to the city. It draws in people from outside to use the recreation, but it definitely does not draw in new residents to the city.
Second, what the candidates would do differently on council.
How do you bring civility to the city council? Everybody's an individual. You have to rein 2 individuals in, and I feel that at the end of the year, one of them will be gone. So if I get on, I think it'll be a little bit easier reining the other one in, at least bringing him to some civility.
We'll be looking at ways to create revenue for the city and also bring people to this area. You take the city's lost 4,000 people over the last 7 years. We need to recoup some of that to increase our tax base. So that way we can manage raising taxes to where maybe you don't have to raise as much.
The last question, what the city's top priority should be.
Our water, period. They've been poisoning us. People say that's a strong word, but I mean, if they're finding very minute pieces of plastic in human body from drinking the water out of a plastic bottle, what are we getting from our water here?
Our priority should be clean, drinkable water, should be fixing our streets, should be getting a controlling on spending. Right now, we have too much of the niceties and the wants and not enough of what we truly need.
We also asked each candidate how they would have voted for the Flynn Pool and Thompson Park Golf Course. Spaziani would have voted yes for the pool. As for the golf club purchase, he admits it's hard to say without all the information. Babcock says he wouldn't have voted for the golf course, but would have voted for a less expensive repair to the pool. Lexi Bruning, 7 News.
A forum held Tuesday for Watertown City Council candidates brought 10 of them together just a week before primary day. 7 News reporter Sandy Torres was at the discussion and has the details.
10 candidates running for an open seat on Watertown City Council went head-to-head Tuesday in a debate. The forum, hosted by WATN and the Eagle, was held at Savory downtown. Topics included housing, the issue of homelessness inside the city, and the fiscal responsibility of council. Candidates brought up the recent $3.4 million golf course purchase by the city. Some saying those in the seats now lack fiscal responsibility, something they say they can offer.
It's not their money. It's all our money. It's taxpayer money. And so it should be looked at and spent wisely.
National Grid contract going to expire. We've known that for quite some time, and we still keep on buying wants versus needs. We need to run it like a business. If we can't put something in at the time, then we don't do it.
A pool is going to take maintenance. A new fire engine is going to take maintenance. A new firefighter is eventually going to need a cost of living increase. Whatever the case may be, show me today what 5 years, 10 years, and so on, and let's start saving today to compensate.
Other candidates focused on topics like the homeless and affordable housing, as well as property owners' rights.
Some of this stuff is sat vacant and dilapidated and unkept for decades. And then there's a lot of them that are apartments, and they're subsidized apartments. People, we're paying for it. And I guess we don't care the condition of it. And I understand that the landlords are being treated unfairly. I definitely agree with that.
We need to bring investors back in the city. We need to protect the landlords from destruction of their property.
To try and address drug addiction or homelessness. That requires a multi-pronged effort by the state, the county, and nonprofits.
As for the candidates' stances on the November mayoral race, 4 openly shared who they endorse, while the other 6 chose not to comment.
Early voting is going on from now through Sunday. Primaries will be held on Tuesday, June 27 from 6 to 9 p.m. Sandy Torres, 7 News.
We'll head over to the Weather Center now. John, we got about less than an hour left here of spring, but it feels like summer has already arrived across the North Country.
Yeah, it's felt that way the last couple of days, Zach, courtesy of high pressure off to the west and, a whole lot of sunshine and helping to bump up those temps. All right, let's take a look at the maps. First weather brought to you by Doors Plus and Adams Center, and well, there you see a couple of clouds. Otherwise, that's about it. Lower 60s at midnight, upper 50s at 6, and by noon, sunshine and 78 degrees. Another warm day tomorrow, another, low humidity day as well. So we'll talk about that. We'll peek into the weekend, too, here in a bit. Let's send it back to you.
Thanks, John. The Ogdensburg Police Department wants to work with the community on improving the city. The chief and his department met Tuesday night with residents, aiming to forge a better connection with citizens. 7 News reporter Sean Brinda has more.
The Ogdensburg Police Department is hosting what it calls a community meeting between members of the department and citizens. Chief Mark Kern says it's been about a year since the last community outreach meeting happened. During that time, Kern says the drug usage within the city has increased significantly.
We've seen an increase in overdoses. We are finding fentanyl in every drug out there, to include marijuana, which has been a great concern to us.
Lieutenant Jarrett LeClaire says recent staffing changes have made drug investigations more difficult. He says it makes public feedback all the more valuable.
It's not going to be an easy task. We want to be able to get that across to them that we're not going to be able to resolve these issues overnight. But with their help, it may be a little quicker.
Kern says that no matter what the issue may be, he wants to improve relations with members of the community and the city police department.
Anything, no matter how big or small, can be as simple as a neighborhood feud that just might need some minor police intervention. Sometimes you find that someone doesn't want to pick up the phone and call the police because they might not think it's an urgent matter, and that is fine. And that's why our doors are open.
Sean Brinda, 7 News.
The town of Lewis highway superintendent has been arrested. His arrest comes in the wake of an investigation by state police and the inspector general's office. Police say 63-year-old Lynn Frank Platt allegedly kept monetary payments of more than $2,300. He is alleged to have received the money from scrap metal sales of property belonging to the town of Lewis. The sales are alleged to have occurred during his tenure as highway superintendent. He is charged with corrupting the government in the 4th degree. We've reached out to the town of Lewis supervisor to see if Platt is still employed. We will continue to cover this story as it develops. Downtown Watertown business owners aren't happy with some of the changes that are happening outside their buildings. The city's streetscape project is underway. The revitalization is intended to make Public Square and a handful of surrounding streets more pedestrian-friendly. However, downtown building owners Bobby Ferris and Jake Johnson were upset at Monday night's city council meeting. The issue? That parking spaces in front of the KeyBank building, which they bought last year, have been removed to make way for planting boxes. Ferris says some of those spots were handicap accessible, giving disabled persons easy access to the bank and other businesses inside.
The fact that they're trying to make downtown look more appealing for people that may want to walk downtown, I get it, and I understand that. But the reality is they're not spending time walking around downtown, going store to store.
The city's planning director, Mike Lumbus, says that they are looking to possibly add additional spots on Stone Street to make up for what's been lost. Delays have been pushed, and an end date for construction from this summer has been pushed back to the fall. The Watertown Police Department, as well as several Jefferson County agencies, are getting $500,000 to help reduce violent crime. The money is part of the $36 million Governor Kathy Hochul announced is going to agencies across New York. The Gun-Involved Violence Elimination Initiative has been around for more than a decade. This money, though, expands the initiative into new departments. The Watertown Police Department receives $150,000. The Jefferson County District Attorney's Office will get about $220,000, the Sheriff's Office about $34,000, and the Probation Department gets about $100,000. The money is for personnel, overtime, equipment, and technology. U.S. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand is looking to help rural communities have easier access to federal funding. The Empire State Senator announced the Rebuild Rural America Act in front of North Country leaders at the Fairgrounds YMCA in Watertown. The legislation looks to invest $50 billion in rural economic development. This includes infrastructure, schools and hospitals, as well as small businesses. Senator Gillibrand is pushing to get this money into this year's Farm Bill.
This is just a larger investment in rural America, and so I'm working on getting a bipartisan lead and getting this into the Farm Bill in some form, because we know it works. And as I said, the Farm Bill only comes every 5 years, so getting the resources now is really important.
The proposed funds follow last week's announced $15 million for rural broadband in the North Country. Gillibrand says we can expect to see further funding down the road as getting reliable, fast internet to remote parts of the area continues to be a challenge. Residents in the town of Lyme will vote on building a proposed $17.5 million water district. If constructed, it would bring water to the roughly 330 properties on Point Salabris. Currently, there is no municipal water source there. The project will cost an estimated $17.48 million. That total is to be split evenly among residents and not by usage. That comes out to a yearly cost of about $2,050. If voters approve the project, the town can apply for state grants that could reduce the cost. You can vote at the Town of Lyme offices Wednesday night between noon and 8 o'clock. Still to come, Mel's in with your North Country Sports Report.
Hey, Zach, the Filipino lacrosse team being led by a local coach. That story in sports.
Plus, when 7 News continues, dozens of Gold Star families gathered alongside members of the Fort Drum community, honoring members of the 10th Mountain Division who were killed in the line of duty.
From the North Country's news station, you're watching 7 News Tonight with Garrett Dumbluski. Tonight's weather with John Kubis. And your North Country sports with Mel Busler.
Your winning evening lotto numbers for Tuesday, the daily 460 and the win 4240. Fallen Fort Drum soldiers were honored Tuesday on post. We spoke with one Gold Star family that tells 7 News reporter Chad Charette they make the 850-mile journey every year to honor their son and to join other families who know the same loss.
Dozens of Gold Star families gathered to honor loved ones who made the ultimate sacrifice.
To gather as a greater 10th Mountain, Fort Drum, and North Country family here at Memorial Park makes it even more special. Thank you all for being here today.
Honoring the 10th Mountain Division's sacrifices made across the world, guest speakers commended the division's bravery.
You are the might that this country stakes its freedom upon.
Then, wreaths were laid. One placed at each of the fallen heroes' memorial's 23 bronze plaques, and the final, set down by Major General Gregory Anderson.
It is and always will be our sacred duty to honor our fallen.
The ceremony concluded with a 21-gun salute. Then, families were able to pay their individual respects. One we spoke to traveled over 850 miles from North Carolina to honor their son, Mitch Carver.
He gave it everything for our freedom.
Mitch Carver Jr. served as an instructor pilot. He was killed in the line of duty back in 2006. His parents say taking part in the ceremony reminds them they aren't alone.
We feel like it's family, really. We've met
people have made the same sacrifices we have.
And their 850-mile trip is well worth it each year.
It has been fantastic. Every time we've come, it's been different, but it seems that more people appreciate what they're doing and what they've done now than ever before.
Brave soldiers immortalized after they made the ultimate sacrifice. Chad Charette, 7 News.
Well, summer's about 45 minutes away now, but some of the first signs of the season are already here. St. Anthony's Church in Watertown is getting ready for this weekend's Mount Carmel feast, prepping a half-ton of sausage. Volunteers from St. Anthony's and the neighboring churches spent the morning in the cafeteria at Immaculate Heart Central, making Mount Carmel's most famous food.
We're shooting for about a little over 1,000 pounds, probably 1,050. Yeah, it's a lot. We got a bunch of volunteers helping us out. Couldn't do it without their help.
A new pavilion stands at St. Anthony's after a fire last July took down the old one. Church volunteers are ready to welcome guests at the newly renovated pavilion for the 105th Mount Carmel Feast. The celebration starts Friday and runs through the end of the weekend. John Kubis is back in the Weather Center when we return.
Now, tonight's weather.
Quiet day, quiet night out there. 63 degrees, a couple of passing clouds. Otherwise, not too much going on. A pressure is high, 3019. Has been holding steady. That's been the case pretty much all day long, and actually over the past couple of days too. 82 the high, 54 the low. As far as the averages, fairly close in the morning, and a solid 6 degrees warmer than the average high for the time of year. Records 90 and 40. 65 for you, Messina, upper 50s, Wanakita, and also on Old Forge Way, 62 in Lowville. 67 in Fort Drum, 68 across the border in Kingston. Had a couple of rain showers earlier this evening up towards Messina. Didn't see a whole lot of rain, if any at all. A couple of clouds passing on by from that area of rain from earlier today, but mainly clear skies. That'll be the case tonight and tomorrow too. High pressure off to the west, keeping any clouds and precipitation way down to our south. Futurecast overnight, not too much going on, mainly clear and lows in the 50s to lower 60s. Tomorrow, models try and indicate some precipitation during the day. Don't think that's going to happen. I think high pressure will keep any precipitation at bay, at least until the end of the week and the upcoming weekend. Your lows tonight, middle to upper 50s, clear skies. Tomorrow, looking sunny, looking warm, highs upper 70s to lower 80s. In Lewis County overnight, clear skies for you, lows middle to upper 50s. Tomorrow looking sunny and warm, highs 78 in Barnes Corners, 79 for you in Lowville. St. Lawrence County overnight, clear, lows, low to mid 50s. Tomorrow looking sunny and warm, 82 in Ogdensburg, 83 Governor, 77 in Wanakina. Thursday, mainly sunny and 79. Notice lows on Thursday night, right around 60, even a little bit warmer in some locales. So showing us that, yes, indeed, more moisture is working on in from the south. And because of that, on Friday, there is the risk of showers. Saturday, a decent shot of showers and storms. And notice it's going to be kind of muggy this weekend. Highs near 80, lows in the 60s. And keeping the potential for some showers and storms next Monday and Tuesday as well. That's all I have for now. Coming up next, Mel has sports. Stay tuned.
Now your North Country Sports.
Time for your Toyota Sports Report. The Philippines national lacrosse team will once again have a local flavor at the World Championships. Kirk Venacuatro is once again coaching with son Mario, one of the players.
Guess what?
Kirk Venacuatro has been associated with the Philippines national team for about 7 years.
Well, I started probably 2016. Did a couple of Heritage Cup tournaments, which coincides with the national championship games. And, that was kind of preparatory. And then 2018, we went to Israel. And then, hey, who knew 5 years later that I'd still be able to do this, and I'm excited.
Venacuatro and members of his family have had the opportunity to be a part of the team through his wife, who is of Filipino heritage.
Well, you get 23 spots, and 19 of them have to be passport holders, and you get 4 spots with at least a grandparent of Filipino heritage. In fact, so much so that they either have a birth certificate or they have a passport. So Mario's grandmother, Carmen Boluya, married a U.S. serviceman in World War II, came over here and became a naturalized citizen. My wife, therefore, is half Filipino, and my boys qualify as open members of our team, and 4 spots. And those are 4 spots used by some super players, all of them at the Division I level.
Venaquatro looks forward to coaching the team once again, this time in San Diego.
Yes, San Diego, California. I checked the weather, 74 of a high this entire week, high 50s in the evening, actually, for 2 weeks. And it's going to be quite a contrast from 114 degrees in Israel 5 years ago. And so all the players on all the teams are going to have a chance to perform and not worry about hydration so much. So it's going to be a great experience.
Andy has surrounded himself with some familiar local names on his coaching staff.
Oh, we have a fantastic staff, one of the best staffs in the world, and it has nothing to do with me. Rob Cross is our offense coordinator. Rob's coached the several Division I, been an assistant several places, and he last year won as the offense coordinator with the Water Dogs. He won a world championship in the PLL. So Rob Cross, the offense coordinator. Ben Gable, former Clarkson women's coach, and he's coached at Clarkson and Potsdam. He is our defense coordinator, former All-American at Cortland. And my son Tony is he is my associate head coach. So he handles, the scheduling and fills in on defense, and he's my right-hand man. So it's kind of a family affair. Remember, Rob and Ben played for me, grew up with me, and we're such a cohesive group. We all know how the other thinks. The offense and the defense is no different than we were successful with at Carthage, and these guys brought on to different levels. And, it kind of flows, and we're looking forward to it.
The Venaquatro-led Philippines team begins play later this week against Israel. It's time for your weekly Can-Am Speedway report. The nasty track of the North once again feeling the effects of the weather with another cancellation of racing last Friday. This coming Friday, there's no scheduled racing at Can-Am because a week from tomorrow, the PAP Shootout will be held. Besides the big feature for the 358 Modifieds, the Empire Super Sprints will make an appearance. That's Wednesday, June 28th at Can-Am Speedway. Perfect Game Collegiate League Baseball, Watertown Rapids hosting the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs. Top of the second, Jared Duquette on the mound for the Rapids gets the double play ball to end the inning. Bottom of the second, Nick Mazzata scores on a wild pitch for the Rapids, tying the game up at 1. Top of the third, Jared Duquette has to duck on the mound, but the Rapids able to turn 2 once again. Bottom of the third, David McCann grounds out to second, allowing Terrence Moynihan to score from third. Rapids on top 2-1. Rapids go on to beat the Diamond Dogs in 10 innings, 6-5. Watertown hosts Boonville tomorrow night. Garrett Cole stared down Jose Cabello and wagged a finger at the Seattle Mariners dugout 15 times after striking out the side in the 7th inning. A pointed response to the rookie's repeated step-outs during the New York Yankees 3-1 win that stopped a 4-game losing streak. After Caballero stepped out with an 0-2 count in the 7th, Cole threw a 97-mile-per-hour fastball to the screen. The Yankees ace got Caballero swinging on a full-count fastball, stared at him as he walked off the mound, then turned to the Mariners' dugout and wagged his right index finger over and over. Plate umpire Dan Bellino then walked towards the New York dugout and had an intense discussion with manager Aaron Boone. Well, tonight's Major League Scoreboard's brought to you by Kraft 836 Canteen on Coffeen Street in Watertown, featuring crafted specialty pizzas, shareable appetizers, desserts, and sandwiches. For great food to go or eat in, it's Kraft 836 Canteen. American League Baseball, Baltimore over Tampa Bay, Kansas City nips Detroit, the Yankees over the Mariners, Athletics Guardians, you see. Also in the 9th, Red Sox lead the Twins. In the 7th, Rangers, White Sox tied at 4. In the National League, Atlanta doubles up on Philadelphia. Cubbies blank the Pirates. Cardinals over the Nationals. Reds beat the Rockies. In the 2nd, scoreless between the Padres and Giants. Interleague Baseball, Toronto over Miami. Houston ends up defeating the Mets tonight. And in the 1st, scoreless between the Dodgers and the Angels. Well, that's it for now. We're going to pause for the cause, pay some bills. When we come back, Zach Grady will wrap things up.
Warm and sunny again tomorrow as well. Let's check the temps. Lower 60s at 7 by the afternoon. Sunshine and 80.
For John and Mel, let me be the first to wish you enjoy your happy summer.